Hi everyone, I decided to make a video about a condition known as perfectly hidden depression. So I'll start off with a question to get you all thinking about what this condition consists of. So have you ever questioned the person that seems to just have a perfect life, such as the perfect job, the perfect husband, a sporty car, or just seems to have it all together in life? Would you ever suspect that this person is in reality just covering up something that is going on internally? And this is in itself a bit of a starter in terms of discussing the condition known as perfectly hidden depression. So what I mean by this is that this condition consists of a pattern of behaviors that are designed to mask true inner feelings of shame and inadequacy. So, how do we know that this condition is coming to the surface? A little bit about this condition is that you will be up at night and you may experience feelings of loneliness and even shame, fear, inadequacy. And this is actually what you're trying to cover up and conceal during the day, but it actually, interestingly, keeps you up at night. So the next day, what usually happens is that in order to mitigate the effects of these feelings of inadequacy, feelings of loneliness at night, is that you will strive and achieve excessive levels of accomplishments and perfectionism. So this is actually a coping mechanism that leads to overachieving and attempts to do everything right in order to cover up what is going on internally. So it's a little tricky to define this condition because it doesn't classify as high-functioning depression or dysthmic depression. So what I mean by this is that sufferers of perfectly hidden depression are able to put a smile on their face the next day after feelings of loneliness and inadequacy the night before. Interestingly, this condition also doesn't classify as major depression because sufferers of this condition are high functioning and they do not exhibit their pain or sadness or frustration towards others. So sufferers of this condition are experts at hiding emotional sadness or pain, making it that much more difficult to diagnose. So usually silence is associated with this condition. But interestingly, silencing your inner pain does not lead to disappearance of the pain. So although you may have developed carefully crafted acting skills in order to mask these feelings, this doesn't make the pain or loneliness dampen in any way, shape, or form. So what usually happens is that you try to overcompensate by exerting control over others and within areas of your life, which lead to perfectionist tendencies. So what are the consequences of perfectly hidden depression? So, as I stated before, a lack of voice in terms of silencing your inner pain doesn't lead to the pain going away. So if you aren't able to resolve this pain, this means that the pain will linger and it will consume you more every day. So also, if you aren't able to express yourself and your inner contents genuinely, you won't be able to achieve vulnerability. And without achieving vulnerability, it is very difficult to make genuine connections with those around you. So this is actually a form of enslavement that will confine you to your thoughts. So I devised a questionnaire to help you determine if you may have this condition or not. So So, question number 1. Do you have difficulty opening up about yourself and intimate details of your life towards other people? So what I mean by this is, let's say you had a rough day and you go out with your friends and you are just very hesitant to talk about your day with them. You're very guarded with, who you are and what you think towards other people. People can kind of sense this and they kind of view you as like an enigma. So if this is you, then this is really kind of a sign that you might have something going on, but not always. Just, take this with a grain of salt if it's a yes to this question. So question number 2 is, are you overly concerned with perfectionism and how you are viewed by others? So here's a good example. Let's say you have a job and you go to work and you're just overly concerned about what they think about you. Then that might be a red flag. Question number 3. So do you avoid expressing your resentment to those that may have wronged you? So let's say you had a conversation with one of your friends and they mentioned something that was just a bit offensive. Would you mention this to them or not? Question number 5. Do you suffer from insomnia due to overthinking at night, also known as ruminating? So do you stay up at night thinking to yourself, oh gosh, what did this person really mean when they said this to me underhandedly? What did they really mean by that? So these kinds of thought patterns might be indicative of something going on. Question number 5. Do you fail to acknowledge when you're overwhelmed? So let's say you are having a really tough time at work and you come home, you're swamped, you're stressed. Do you have troubles acknowledging this to yourself? Question number 6. Do you sacrifice your personal well-being in order to accomplish something? Question number 7. Are you more inclined to help those around you at the cost of your own well-being? So what I mean is that, do you engage in self-neglect just to please other people? Question 8. Did you grow up in a family that encouraged you to suppress your emotions and feelings, and were you reprimanded for expressing them? So, if so, then you might have a predisposition to develop this disorder. Have you ever received physical, emotional, or sexual mistreatment and failed to speak up about it? Question 10. Were you raised to fulfill an expectation rather than just to be your authentic self? Question number 11. Do you seek to excessively control the circumstances in which you are involved? Question number 12. Do you have difficulty keeping your life organized? So what I mean by that is, let's say you are going through a really tough time and you just can't seem to wrap your mind around like what should be done first. Like, should I pay the bills first? Should I go do cooking? Should I do the dishes? Should I do the laundry? Like, you're just overwhelmed. Like, everything is coming at you once and you're just on overload and like not feeling good about it. Question 13. Do you experience anxiety often, and does your anxiety convert into panic? So these are just a couple of questions that will get you kind of in tune with whether you might have this condition. So question 14 is, are you always on the verge of crying easily, or the opposite, not crying at all? Question 15. Do your friends and family members count on you frequently? if so, they may be aware that you lack boundaries and they are clearly taking advantage of that. Question 16. Do you hesitate to invest time in yourself? So do you tell yourself, oh no, I don't deserve that cup of Starbucks, I don't deserve that vacation, I just, I'm not ready to really put time into myself. Question number 17. Do you get agitated at the thought of victimization? So let's say someone around you is talking about themselves and saying that, someone really wronged them, that they're just the victim of whatever mistreatment that they received. Does that upset you? And question 18. Were you raised to think of asking for help as a sign of weakness? Question number 19. Do you frequently choose to adopt an overly optimistic view on life and neglect the realities of life? In other words, do you live in denial? Question number 20. Do you frequently tell yourself that you aren't good enough and that you could have done things differently? So what I mean by that is, do you often think, oh gosh, whatever I just did, I totally sucked at that, and I don't know why I said what I said the way that I did or why I presented myself this way, but I could have just said things differently or just done things differently. Question 21. Do you display outward signs of energy and hope, but deep down you feel troubled? Question 22. Do you try to accomplish everything, and then when you fail to do so, do you feel a sense of failure? So, after hearing these questions, I wanted to present to you a grading rubric. So, if you answered yes to 5 to 8 of these questions, this means that you are definitely a reliable person. So, if you answered yes to 8 to 11 of these questions, this means that you are overly perfectionist, and you may want to keep this in mind. If you answered yes to 12 or more of these questions, there is a possibility that you may have developed this condition or be on the verge of developing perfectly hidden depression. So, I wanted to discuss positive perfectionism. I've been attributing a negative connotation to perfectionism throughout this video, but I wanted to give you guys another view in terms of perfectionism. So it's not always a bad thing, because there are many talented and ambitious individuals that have achieved lots of outward success, but the success is a byproduct of their actions and is not a means within of itself. So what I mean by that is that these individuals have not gone to extreme measures to achieve their success. They simply have achieved it because it's just natural after all the hard work, talent, and ambition that they've put into it. Another red flag is if your success is fueled by feelings of shame and inadequacy, then this can actually lead to a dangerous cascade of events. So if you have any issues with anything that I've mentioned, don't hesitate to seek professional counsel. And stay tuned for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.